allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So our first order of business is
Instruction manuals on 40 pages.
health numbers. Judge Rochon.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Walker. It's really a pleasure to be. It's really a pleasure for me to be here today. It's one of the real honors of being a judge to be able to administer oath of offices to the city council, those citizens who are so special that they wanted to devote their time and efforts to the good of the community. And I want to thank them all for doing that, not only the council members who are being sworn in today, but also those who continue to be occupying their term. I also want to thank their families, because it's a big sacrifice for all of you and your families to devote that much time and effort to the good of the community. So thank you so much. First person, and I'm going to do these numerically, is that I want to swear into the council, John C. Jones. John, come up here, please. Mr. Jones, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, John C. Jones, having been elected to the office of City of Pacific Council Position Number 2.
I, John C. Jones, being elected to the City of Pacific Council Position Number 2.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
That I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office.
Faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office.
As prescribed by law and to the best of my ability.
Prescribed by law and to the best of my ability.
And that I will support and maintain the Constitution of the State of Washington and of the United States of America.
Right.
That's the way you can read it. And that I will support and maintain the Constitution of the United States of
Washington and the United States of America.
Very good. Thank you, John.
He's reading.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Next, Stacy May Knudsen.
Stacy, get up here, honey.
Stop hiding.
Congratulations. I'm going to put this right here so you can read it up here. Raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I, Stacy May Knudsen, having been duly elected to the office of City of Pacific, Council Position Number 5.
I, Stacy May Knudsen, having been duly elected to the office of City of Pacific, Council Position Number 5.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
That I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office.
I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office.
As prescribed by law and to the best of my ability.
As prescribed by law and to the best of my ability.
And that I will support and maintain the Constitution of the State of Washington and of the United States of America.
And that I will support and maintain the Constitution of the State of Washington and of the United States of America.
Very nice. First, I want you to sign this one. Last but certainly not least, Mr. Trent Walker. after me. I, Trent Walker, having been duly elected to the office of City of Pacific Council Position Number 7,
I, Trent Walker, having been duly elected to the office of City of Pacific Council Position Number 7,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office
as prescribed by law and to the best of my ability,
as prescribed by law and to the best of my ability,
and that I will support and maintain the Constitution of the State of Washington and of the United States of America.
and that I will support and maintain the Constitution of the State of Washington and the United States of America.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. So next on the agenda is roll call council meeting.
Councilmember Bowlby? Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Cade?
Here.
Councilmember Newsom? Here. Councilmember Putnam?
Here.
Councilmember Stecker, absent. Councilmember Walker?
Here.
Councilmember Ford?
Okay, do we have any additions to or approval, or additions or removals from the agenda?
One correction to clarify, I consider action item should include council committee appointment.
So modifying action item C for council meeting. Any other modifications? Are we doing, we have to do the motion. Two motions. Okay. So, Stephen Rochon.
Thanks, Mr. Walker. Members of the council, thanks for letting me come in to also address you and citizens of the Pacific regarding the functions of the court. Obviously, we're the judicial branch of the city government, and I'm here today before the legislative branch and the executive branch. The municipal courts in the state of Washington were reorganized back in 1984 and defined the jurisdiction of city courts under Revised Code of Washington 3.50.020. Our municipal court has exclusive original jurisdiction over violations of the city ordinances, the city code. And that includes crimes, that is gross misdemeanor crimes, punishable generally by up to 364 days in jail, $5,000 fine, costs and assessments, misdemeanor class crimes, generally punishable by up to 90 days in jail, $1,000 fine, plus costs and assessments. And the court then resolves legal controversies generally brought by the city, that is the plaintiff in most of these cases, against an individual or a person who is the defendant. Now, municipal courts are courts of limited jurisdiction, just like district courts are, but district courts are a little bit different because they have civil jurisdiction. So they have small claims court, and they have jurisdiction over claims not to exceed $75,000. This court doesn't have any of that kind of jurisdiction. The only civil jurisdiction it has is regarding infractions or violations of the motor vehicle code that are not crimes. Now, our resolution of these cases must comply with the requirements of the federal constitution, the state constitution, state law, that is the Revised Code of Washington, state court rules, and the Pacific Municipal Code. So we have to answer to all of these bodies of law. The constitutional mandates that the court must operate under include the right to an attorney, of course. Anytime if a person is subjected or potentially subjected to going to jail, they have the right to an attorney. If they can't afford an attorney, they must have an attorney appointed to them, and so the court appoints public defense counsel. Another constitutional mandate, and again, these are mandates by both the federal constitution and the state constitution, is the right to a jury trial. Now, because this is a court of limited jurisdiction, the jury size in this court is 6. So it's not like in Superior Court or what you might see on TV where you see 12. It's 6 people, but unanimity is still required. All other constitutional mandates include the right to compulsory attendance of witnesses. And then basically, due process of law, that is fundamental fairness, and that includes interpreters being provided when English is not the primary language, sufficient notice of hearings and claims against the parties, and then, of course, the clerk's office has to provide copies of pleadings when requested. Statutory or court rule mandates include speedy arraignment, meaning we have to make sure that people are coming in to enter their plea in certain type of cases in a timely fashion next judicial day, but otherwise within the rule that dictates the time for arraignment. It also requires that once an arrest is made, and of course Lieutenant Massey and the police force know about this, if they want to have any kind of no contact orders done, or if they want probable cause findings and bail set in order to have someone held, pre-accusation or pre-trial, I have to be notified right away. So basically, since I'm the only judge in the city, I'm 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the service of the city. And then another statutory or court rule mandate is the right to a speedy trial. Right to a speedy trial is following arraignment. A defendant has a right, if they are in custody, to a trial within 60 days. If they're not in custody, they have the right to a trial within 90 days. One thing that the court obviously is involved in is the detention of accused people. Sometimes that detention is pre-charge, and again, when that occurs, if there's an arrest made, the police get a hold of me right away. I make determinations of probable cause, inquire regarding the person's prior record, if any, and then determine whether they're going to be held pending a charging decision by the city prosecuting attorney. Sometimes, even after the charge is made, folks are held in detention. Reason is because of dangerousness or history of failures to appear primarily, and then of course, if it is required by law or it's appropriate under the circumstances, detention or jail can be imposed at the time of sentencing. Some of these jail sentences are mandated by state law. For example, on DUI convictions or physical control convictions mandate jail and or electronic home monitoring, depending on how many prior offenses you have in the past 7 years. So the court really has no options there. These are unfunded mandates by the state, but the state has said on the first offense this must happen, on the second offense this must happen, on the third or subsequent offense this must happen. Otherwise, the court tries to use other least restrictive methods of detention, including the possibility of putting scram bracelets on to detect alcohol use, may be under probationary pretrial monitoring, and then finally electronic home monitoring, where they have to wear an ankle bracelet and they can tell whether the person has left their home or not. And then, of course, next step up from there is jail. So that's a brief summary of what we do in the judicial branch of the city government, and I'm sure to be happy to, and I want to mention one other thing. Under the jurisdictional statute, under that statute, we would be a lasting jurisdiction because we have an interlocal facilities and services agreement with the city of Algona. We function as their court, that city's court. So whenever something occurs in the city of Algona that violates their city code, the police department and or their prosecuting attorney files into this court, and we resolve them consistent with all those constitutional, legal, regulatory, and rule requirements that I've already talked about. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned, of course, having to administer and comply with the municipal code here in Pacific, and events of the last year and a half showed quite a few places where we've identified places that the code could be clarified. Obviously, it's council's prerogative to decide what the policy should be, but do you have a list of, or a kind of frequently encountered places where code just isn't as clear as it should be, and you would appreciate it clarified?
Well, I really don't, and but if I did find such, I would hope that your city attorney or your prosecutor would consult with you and say, hey, this is what the judge did in this particular case, and I don't know if we need to tweak this at all, But I can't honestly state that I have any issues, and I certainly don't want to step on the toes of the lawmaking body, and that's why I'm before today. So, but if you do find out that that's the case, for example, I'm also the judge in Maple Valley today. I had an infraction, and it was speeding in a school zone, and the defendant raised the issue of whether the city had the authority to lower the speed limit to where it did, and it didn't lower it to 20, which is the number denominated by the Revised Code of Washington, but reduced it to 35. And the defendant raised an interesting issue, and unless, after doing the research and doing the analysis, if the city can't establish that the Secretary of Transportation for the state of Washington specifically approved deviating from that 20-mile-per-hour zone and allowed an enhancement of that, defendant will likely win that case, and hopefully then the prosecuting attorney will go back to the city, either the city attorney or to the members of council and say, we might have an issue here. Or I'll find out that they disagree with me, which is another possibility as well. Any other questions? All right. Well, I really appreciate being able to address you all. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you coming in, Dr. Shaw.